to the action for another day of the week. Here we go now, baby. We are right back into the action for another day of the week. Welcome to another edition of Chasing That Paper, the Thursday edition of the program presented by VegasInsider.com. Check them out right now for all your betting needs. So coming off a 2-0-1 performance yesterday, a nice little bounce back there from Tuesday, and we have a jam-packed show today. It is the game of the year in the CFL. We have Washington in Chicago to take on the Bears. We have some MLB playoff action and a little bit of action on the ice here, NHL as well. So joining me today in this traditional Thursday spot, it is my co-host from over at Betside, and my guy Iain MacMillan. Now, Iain, before we get into the picks here, let's discuss your wardrobe a little bit. This has been a bit of a hot topic in the Chasing That Paper community. So bring us behind your decision of wearing a brown T-shirt on the show today.
Yeah, I don't know why you're so all over me lately about what I'm wearing. Yeah, maybe that day where I, just wore a T-shirt that was the same color as my wall behind me maybe wasn't the best move. But I'm a plain T-shirt kind of guy. This is what I wear. So today I decided to go with his brown, purplish grape color. I think it looks pretty good.
I like it. It's a very modest outfit, a very humble looking shirt there from Iain. There's nothing humble about this man's picks. So, Iain, what's your record coming into week 6 here? I know you pick every single game on the board.
Yes, my NFL record for the road to 272 bets, 272 games, 272 bets, 43, 34, and 3 for plus 7.38 units. Not bad so far. A lot of football
that's pretty
left,
good. Though. Yeah, absolutely. And we get an absolute slobber knocker of a game here tonight in Chicago. So 3 total picks for that, 2 for Major League Baseball, 1 for the NHL. Iain, we're going to let you hit leadoff today. You like a side in this one. What are you looking at?
Yes, I do. I like the Bears, actually, to beat the Commanders. At the start of the season, I placed a bet, I think it's at 28-1 for the Washington Commanders to have the worst record in the NFL. So far, so good at 1-4. They're looking pretty bad. And they're bad enough I have no interest on betting on them. Maybe in a spot where they're getting points, I might bet on them. Certainly not in a pick 'em. So I'll take the Bears here. I just mentioned how bad the Commanders are. 25th in yards per play this season, averaging just 5.0 yards per snap. Ron Rivera this week just completely threw Carson Wentz under the bus.
Yeah.
Said, what was the biggest difference between the Commanders and the rest of the NFC East teams? And he said quarterback. Wow. Especially coming from a guy who's supposed to be a defensive-minded coach, has one of the worst defenses in the NFL, for him to throw his quarterback under the bus. That franchise is in shambles right now. And I'm going to talk about this more a little bit later with my second pick, but the Bears, 7th in yards per pass attempt, not something that you probably would have guessed with how little they throw the ball, but they're averaging 7.7 yards per throw. I hope they throw the ball a little bit more tonight. And yeah, this Washington team just bad. Minus 7.6 is their average scoring margin. That is the second worst mark in the NFL. Only the Steelers have a worse average scoring margin than this Commanders team. So at a pick 'em, I'll take the Bears at home.
Yeah, Ron Rivera is a bum.
He is a bum.
Are you trying to motivate your quarterback by totally throwing him under the bus? It's not as if this guy's enough of a punching bag as it is, Carson Wentz. So, yeah, pretty bad decision. And Wentz apparently a little bit banged up going into this game. So last Thursday night, we had a lot of complaints about that Broncos-Colts game. But I'm hoping we see an exact repeat of that tonight here in Chicago, because I am all over the under with the total there at 38 points. So let's get into this one. A very low scoring floor for each of these teams. The Commanders have scored 17 or fewer points over their last 3 games, 38 or fewer combined points in each of those games, by the way. Chicago, 3 of their 5 games have stayed under 38 points. We dig into some stats here. Both stink on third down. They're 26th and 30th in the red zone, both in the bottom third of the league in yards per play. So having trouble getting the ball up and down the field. And both of these quarterbacks going to be feeling the heat here. Both doing an awful job at protecting their quarterback. Chicago, the 3rd most pressure allowed. Washington, the 3rd most sacks allowed. And defensively, to their credit, each is in the top 7 at pressuring the opposing quarterback, and we dig into this trend here. 16-5 under trend on Thursday Night Football since the start of last season. Offenses league-wide having a hard time on short rest. And check out this amazing nugget from Evan Abrams from over at the Action Network. Evan was on this show Tuesday with me. So with a total from 37-40, Thursday Night Football unders are a ridiculous 18-4-1. By an average of 9.7 points. So no, trends aren't everything, but I think we absolutely have the stats to back that one up. Iain, what's your favorite prop for this game?
Yeah, I kind of alluded to it earlier. I'm going to take, I'm going to feel stupid by the end of the night, but I'm going to take Justin Fields over 170.5 passing yards tonight. I've been fading Justin Fields prop bets through the first few weeks of the season, but I actually think this is a good spot to flip things and now take an over. Mainly because we're seeing a slight increase, even maybe more than just a slight increase in the amount of plays that the Bears are calling being passing plays. Last week against the Vikings, 48.94% of their call plays were passing plays. That was about a 10% increase from their season average. And Justin Fields performed pretty well in that spot. He completed 71.43% of his passes for 208 yards and a touchdown. He had by far his best performance this season, and I hope that will carry into this week, and especially because the Commanders' secondary is kind of the weakness of their defense. Teams are averaging 7.2 yards per throw against them. That is 26th in the NFL. So I think Bears might trust Justin Fields a little bit more with his arm and let him throw the ball a little bit more. And 170.5 passing yards. That's 30 fewer yards or 40 fewer yards than last week. I think he can go over this total. But once again, I might feel stupid by the end of the night tonight with this bet, but I'm going to take a risk here.
Yeah, we might see more points scored or unscored in the baseball games today compared to this NFL game. And speaking of baseball games, we go right to the Major League Baseball Diamonds American League playoff action here. Yankees looking to get off to a 2-zip lead in their series. I'm going to leave the bullpens out of it. I'm going to take the Yankees' first 5 run line coming in at plus 110. So check out who's on the man here for the Yankees. Nasty Nestor Cortez, a 1.95 ERA at home for Nasty Nestor. Pretty sharp in 2 starts versus Cleveland this season. A 2.19 ERA with 14 strikeouts and 2 walks. Real concerns here about this Guardians offense. Just 4 runs in 3 playoff games for them so far. A 506 OPS, striking out a lot, just 5 extra base hits. And Shane Bieber on the man for the Guardians. Last time he pitched in the playoffs at Yankee Stadium, he got absolutely humiliated. 7 earned runs in 4.2 innings of work. And I think Yankees hitters might have his number in 68 combined at-bats against him. Have an OPS over 1,000. So give me the Yankees first 5 run line, a little plus money there. Next up, Iain, the early game today, the Mariners looking to even things up with the Astros. What are you looking at in that one?
Yeah, I also got a first 5 inning bet here. I'm going to take the Mariners as an underdog here. First 5 money line plus 118. I found this stat this morning. This was actually kind of surprising to me. The Astros, dating back to August 1st, they have struggled against right-handed pitchers. 17th in the majors in OPS over that span against righties. And their OPS during that time span drops from 865 against lefties all the way down to 694 against righties. And now they have to take on right-handed pitcher Luis Castillo, who has been fantastic for the Mariners, especially in his wild card start against the Jays. Unfortunately for us, Joe, that was a tough one to watch. It's bad. But the Mariners get to face Framber Valdez, who at times this season has struggled against this Mariners lineup. He has a 3.95 ERA in 2 starts against the Mariners, which is a step down from his season-long ERA of 2.82. And finally, this Mariners lineup has been actually great early in games. Dating back to September 1st, they have scored the 3rd most runs in the first 5 innings amongst all Major League Baseball teams. So I'll take a shot here on the Mariners. I'm a little nervous to go full game after what happened in game 1. So I'll stick to the first 5 innings, Mariners plus 118 against the Astros.
Yeah, some plus money Major League Baseball picks. Okay, let's wrap things up on the ice. I hit my first NHL bet of the season last night on the Boston Bruins. So hitting at 100% in the NHL so far this season, sweeping the board at 1-0, right, Ian? So we're going to try to keep it going tonight. Great number here on the Florida Panthers, minus 135. Now, I know they had a disappointing end to their season last season, but unlike the Toronto Maple Leafs last night, I expect Florida to come out absolutely flying in this game versus the Islanders. So like I said, great number. This number is short, minus 135. Now, I get that there's some turnover from year to year, and these aren't the exact same teams that we saw last season, but last time these teams met in New York in April with Sorokin and net, Florida was a minus 200 favorite. So great value in this one. The talent level between these two teams, not even close. So let's take a look at the teams in the second half last season, specific to the last 25 games. Florida, 7th in expected goals for. The Islanders, 31st. And Florida dominated them last season, won all 3 games, outscored them 14-4. So much like the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Panthers are a great regular season team. But that is about it. Okay, so there you have it. 6 total picks from Ian and I. If you're looking for a place to place these bets at, I recommend placing them over at BetMGM. Let me tell you a little bit about them. Kick off the football season with the king of sportsbooks. Sign up with BetMGM using bonus code VIBONUS, and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. That's VI bonus, all one word, no spaces, and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 or older. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Ian, what the hell was that from your Toronto Maple Leafs last night? That's how you come into a season after the way they went out last season? A gigantic favorite versus the Montreal Canadiens, one of the worst teams in the league. Let me show you something, Ian. You see that? That's a Stanley Cup. We're talking Pittsburgh Penguins hockey here. Same colors as Vegas Insider, coincidentally enough. The only Stanley Cup you're going to find in Toronto is at the Hockey Hall of Fame in downtown Toronto, baby.
I went to the Hockey Hall of Fame a couple months ago because I did want a chance to see the Cup. Because, I'm not going to see any Toronto Maple Leafs Stanley Cup parades, that's for sure. But, most seasons I get my heart ripped out in the playoffs. And then by the time the regular season comes around, I'm back to being optimistic. Not the case this time. I don't know what it was against that loss to the Lightning, but it killed me so bad that I thought about betting against the Leafs last night. I should have. I just ended up not betting on the game. But, that was kind of expected. They look sloppy. They look bad. Matt Murray allowed, four goals on 23 shots. It's going to be a long season, and they're probably going to end up being a decent team with a decent record at the end of the year. They'll go in the playoffs. They'll lose the first round. I can't be optimistic about the Leafs anymore. I've just I'm numb to them. They stink.
Ian calling it like he sees it. I like it, and I won't take a look at the Toronto Blue Jays. People have been throwing shots at me. I'm not going to defend them. That was flat out pathetic. That was the most humiliating.
That was
loss
pathetic.
Franchise history. But I'm going to tell you, Matt Murray and net, that's no answer for the Leafs. I know that as a Penguins fan. That guy's completely shot. So into a bit of a topic of the day type of conversation here, Ian. I want to talk to you a little bit about gambling Twitter, a very entertaining online community that can also be very toxic at times. I mean, you have a bit of a footprint within that community as sports betting content creator. So I want to ask you, what do you think the most annoying thing about gambling Twitter is?
Oh, where do I start, Joe? How about faceless Twitter touts? People who you have no idea what they look like. They never do video content. They never do audio content. In my opinion, anyone who does that is probably like a 12-year-old selling picks. $50 for a package, which is usually a losing package. If it has a winning record, is usually moneyline favorites. People who ask for likes and retweets in order to give out a pick. No, we don't need to give you 500 retweets to give out a minus 125 money line. That's stupid. Where else can we go with this? People who use too many emojis, people who the whale play, people who bet all of their bets are 10-unit plays. You should not be putting 10 units on anything. That's completely stupid. People who bet parlays all the time and act like they're professional sports bettors. Professional sports bettors don't play parlays. Don't act like people who call it sports investing. That's stupid too. Joe, I could rant about this for hours.
Yeah, I think my biggest pet peeve is the victory lap we're seeing people make. Like, settle down a little bit. Okay, you hit your minus 115 prop. Do you really need to put 25 different emojis to celebrate that? Nobody gives a shit. Hey, if you hit like something crazy, like a plus 300, like, yeah, feel free to celebrate. If you do a prop that hits in the first quarter, the first inning of a game, yeah, that's cool. Celebrate that. But the thing that drives me the most nuts within this, the victory lap aspect of it, is people calling 2-0 a sweep. And they have the audacity to use the broom emojis. 2-0 is not a sweep. In the wild card round, was anyone bragging about the Mariners sweeping the Blue Jays or the Guardians sweeping their series about against Tampa Bay? No, they beat those teams 2-0 in the series. No one's calling that a sweep. Is 1-0 a sweep? Give me a break. So yeah, I think a lot of these people take themselves a little bit too serious, and I'm sure people might find me annoying and obnoxious at times. I'm not completely innocent. But yeah, a couple things that stick out to me and Ian about the online gambling Twitter community that absolutely drive us nuts.
You swept your NHL picks last night. Want to know?
I swept my 1-0 sweep on the NHL, and I did have a 1-0 sweep on my Padres Dodgers picks on the one bet I made. I went 1-0, so a couple individual 1-0. God, 2-0 is not a sweep.
No. Has to be.
Do not use the broom emoji for 2-0, for God's sakes. So I was having this discussion with my buddy there, kind of a funny, goofy conversation. And I want to throw this by you, Ian. So I know you're a guy that will do anything for money. We won't get into your past, specifics of your past and things you have done for money. But let me ask you this. For $1,000 US, would you walk around a mall in Houston, Texas on Black Friday for 20 minutes wearing a Cleveland Browns Deshaun Watson jersey?
How long do I have to do it for?
20 minutes on the busiest day of the year in a mall in Houston.
For $1,000, yeah, I'd do that. Yeah, for sure. 20 minutes, not that bad.
I wonder how many confrontations you would get in.
Probably a lot. Probably a lot.
Yeah, like the Browns jersey is adding a completely different layer to it because it's kind of like rubbing it in a way, but it's extremely greasy.
Would you do it?
Yeah. I think that's it. Like we started. Like, would you do it for $500? No, you can't.
No, really I think 1,000. 1,000's as low as I'd go. I think. I don't think I'd do it for less.
You have to be ready to fight. If
or run.
Absolutely. Okay, so that does it for the Deshaun Watson segment of the program. If you love what we do here at Vegas Insider, you are going to want to check out the brand new Vegas Insider app. We've got up-to-date, easy-to-navigate odds for every major sport. We have all our latest shows, best bet videos, and podcasts, props, trends, futures, news, all on the Vegas Insider app. Download the Vegas Insider app right now on Apple and Android. Bet better with the Vegas Insider app. Okay, Ian, moving on to the viewer picks segment of the program. A bit of a stripped down production here today. You may have noticed that producer Tito is out some community service as part of his probation, so he's not going to be producing the show the next couple of days. So we don't have the graphics for these, but we had a couple of submissions from the viewers of Chasing That Paper, and one that kind of aligns with yours a little bit here, Ian. Our guy at KDF0420, maybe a weed smoker. He likes Mooney over 46.5 receiving yards. Washington gives up the fourth most receiving yards in the league, and the back four has been abysmal. Mooney leads the Bears in targets per game and should be able to top this easily. What do you think of Mooney tonight, Ian?
Yeah, if I like Justin Fields over his passing total, then I hope Mooney's got to get involved. They don't really have anyone else to throw to, so I like it.
Okay, Jason Jantz, a regular submitter to this segment. He likes under 6.5 for the Yankees Guardians game here. Cortez 1.95 ERA at home, like I pointed out. Bieber 2.65 on the road. Both teams under this in 3 straight. Cleveland relying on the home run for all of their runs in the postseason here so far. Cortez surrendered just 5 home runs in 87 innings pitched at home this season. Yeah, I don't mind it. I would, if you don't like runs, I would be more inclined to take the Guardians team total under, maybe their team total under specific to the first 5 innings. I'm guessing that would be set at 1.5, maybe. What do you think of the total in that game, Ian?
Yeah, I would like the under. I mean, Guardians pitching is definitely their strength here. I will say, I know you had a pick for the game here as well, Joe, but I'm here in New York, and there's not a lot of hope that this game's going to happen. I think it's going to get rained out. It's like 100% chance of rain later today. But
I wish you would have told me that before we prepared the fucking show today.
I was just looking at it before we went live.
Hour.
The weather in New York is not looking good today. But hey, maybe it'll happen. Who knows? Weather's
maybe
weird.
we're doing MLB picks again tomorrow, so maybe that will carry over to then. Okay, so we're going to wrap things up with our guy Sean Mitchelson. He's given us plenty of winners. Find him at Das Sox Fan 24. So he likes Framber Valdez to go over a strikeout total of 5.5 minus 125. Much better K ratio at home this season. 15 strikeouts in 12 innings pitched versus Seattle this season. A 2.40 ERA in 12 day starts, has been over this number in 9 of 10. Not quite going against you, but what do you think? Do you think the the Mariners can chase Valdez early and keep him from going over that total?
Yeah, I mean, I think I especially hope for my bet that the Mariners at least get a few runs. I don't know if they're going to do enough to take him out of the game, though. So, yeah, I probably like that bet. I was just trying to see if I could look up the Mariners strikeout total in recent games here, see if that can give me a little bit of a better indication. But yeah, middle of the pack, 17th. So yeah, I like that bet.
Dude, how about Clayton Kershaw last night? Like, that could have been much worse than it actually was. Like, he was in a big jam in the second inning. The third inning, he was in a jam and allowed a few. This flat out, not the same guy. I know he's a Hall of Famer, probably one of like the best pitchers of all time, at least as far as regular season is concerned. And he did okay during the 2020 run, but just absolutely easily rattled out there. I took the over 1.5 on his earned runs, and that's one of the easiest bets I made all year.
Yeah, and it's not like, the Padres have a decent offense, but like even 16th in OPS dating back to the start of last month. So it's not like the Padres have like a top 5 offense. So he's just, I don't know what happens to him in the postseason. Gets in his head or something. It's not good.
Yeah, there's some of these guys, like even Max Scherzer, he has the occasional stinker. You've seen that from Garrett Cole in the playoffs. We saw it from Verlander in game 1, and the Astros still won despite that. So sometimes with this, that's what makes a baseball playoffs tricky, right? Sometimes you have to throw out these stats from the regular season because they don't always carry over. Okay, it is now time for our Handicapper Heat Check presented by VegasInsider.com. Your home for the best expert picks in the business since 1997. Today we recognize expert handicapper Scott Pritchard. Scott is on an 11-1 NFL tear and is absolutely on fire here. 20-5 with his last 25 picks. Saved $10 on his best bets by clicking on the link in the description below. The $10 discount will be applied during checkout. That's your Handicapper Heat Check. Stay hot, betters! Yes. Okay. So, Ian, you have a ton of Week 6 content out there for people to consume. Where can we find it? And what is it?
Bacon Bets Podcast. If you want my best bet for all 14 NFL Week 6 games, that is live. That went live a couple of days ago. And check out Daily Bet Slip at 5 p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk Thursday Night Football. Also, my guest on that show, Joe Madden. Joe. Another someone who makes appearances on Vegas Insider as well. So she's going to join me as a guest on that show, 5 p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk a little NHL and a little Thursday Night Football. So check that out as well.
Had all the heavy hitters joining Ian there on his program. So you're going to want to check that out. You're going to want to check out Down to the Wire tonight at 6 Eastern with our very own Kevin Rogers, a very special guest on Kevin's program. And that very special guest is me. Kevin and I will be making our selections for the the Las Vegas Super Contest and the Circa. I'm starting to heat up a little bit, so we're going to try to keep that going. I like some ugly ones here in Week 6. And, of course, you're going to want to check back here tomorrow, chasing that paper, as always, at 11 Eastern. My guy, Iain, will be with me. I think we've had 3 consecutive profitable Friday football programs here, Ian. And
I know I didn't do good last week, so you might have carried the show. I think I went 1-2 last week.
I went 3-1, and the greasy money line parlay was plus 174, and that came through for us. So we're going to try to keep that going as well. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube right now, do me a favor, like and subscribe. Hit that down there below. Good luck with your bets tonight, unless you are fading us. And as always, keep chasing that paper.